part in the life and conflict around the world and in the violence. People that like to take what is not theirs, and people that like to hijack and enslave others and take their property and make use of it as if it's their own. The Lord calls you as the soldiers to desist and not to do that. That whatever that you have taken that is not yours, to return it to the owners and actually pay a 20%. Maybe one of the messages I might have mentioned 25%, saying that is 5, but 25%, that's times 5 is 125. So I meant to say 20%. But 20% say enter 1/5, meaning 20%. 1/5 is not 25%. So I want to make sure that it stands corrected on that, that you have to return it to them. But in the message today, I take you to the final message of misrepresentation that people engage. This is common. And in the message today, we started by reading from the beginning of the life of Abraham, who himself started this journey as Abraham, but he lied. How many of you in your marriage, when they come together, and you come together with your husband or with your wife, and you decide to misrepresent things, misrepresentation? When people misrepresent things, this is actually another form of deception. A worse kind of deception. Because a deception, you know and agree you are deceiving somebody, and you plan with all the intention, with the motive to deceive somebody. Misrepresentation, you are deceiving somebody, but you are making it look like you are not deceiving the person. You are hiding your deception. You are concealing your deception. You are obfuscating your deception. Your lies. Your fraud. So that the people will not be able to see that by presenting something else. It goes back to all the flawed reasons that we had given. The 15 flawed reasons that we had given in this series. When you look at Abraham, in order to save himself, decided to misrepresent the fact. But even though he was misrepresenting the fact, he was also speaking the truth, because actually he married his own stepsister, half-sister. He married his half-sister. So in a sense, she was his sister. She was stating a fact. He was stating a fact. But they planned it in order to cover, in order to save himself. The message today: what are you misrepresenting in your life, in your thoughts, the word that you are speaking, and the things that you are doing with your spouse that you are misrepresenting, that will end up backfire in your life and scatter the marriage? There is one grand in the Christian tradition and Christian belief. When a marriage is annulled, is when there is a misrepresentation of facts. If you misrepresent the facts and the things or anything that is significant that would have caused another not to be with you in marriage, something that if the person had known that you wouldn't have agreed to marry you, then their marriage never existed. You can be married for 50 years, but the marriage is null and void, because you covered something up. You misrepresented things, because you lied, because there is a fraud, because there is a deception. somebody who have AIDS and decides to marry somebody else who has no AIDS and kept it secret. He may have talked about one time he was sick and all the symptoms, describe all the symptoms of AIDS, but he never told the person that he had AIDS. And therefore, the other person contacted AIDS, for example, in a place where there is no medication to manage it. And I'm using that as an example. And the person found out that both of them are all living with this condition. That marriage is null and void. Say to you, my sister, you are my sister. He told his wife so that he can be saved. There are people, because of misrepresentation, because they want to be right, because they want to be saved, or because they want to be liked, because they want to be promoted, because they want to succeed, because they want to stay in power, because of whatever that justification is, then you misrepresent the fact, like Abraham did. And therefore, someone else suffered for it. In this case, Pharaoh. The house was cursed by God. I want you to take, because I know in some of the messages we might have mentioned this, but whenever I give a message, I don't give a message twice. Every message brings something new to you. The members of the soldiers, you will see the deception, how it caused harm to the house of Pharaoh. He was struck in verse 17. But the Lord struck Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abraham's wife, that he took as his own. And what happened? There is always a consequence, but the one I want you to take from this is for you to see that by his action, by the expression that he has made, by what he had done, there was an anger. See the anger of God. God himself expressed his anger, because you remember God hates divorce. God does not want divorce. Genesis chapter 1. Whatever God has joined together, let no man put asunder. And because Pharaoh was a king, he separated Abraham from his wife Sarai, even though both of them were the priests.